Isn't that what crafting our narrative is all about?
Yeah, and and in terms of your guys' blog posts, don't worry. Like right at this point in our writing career as a team, just write what comes to your mind. As we get more sophisticated, as these systems become routine, and after we've met a year of deadlines, right, and we've really started to become habitual content creators. At that point, I think we will have earned the right to start brainstorming more strategically about what order we should be writing in and what different content we want to put in and how we're going to organize it. But at this point, like I think it's better to just start writing, and we can deal with referring back and refining later on in the process as we grow our skills. What do you think of that?
Or at least for me, I think that's really important. Just like putting it out there without necessarily just a large oversight of like having to structure it really specifically, or I don't know, just it's kind of like when you're writing an essay, kind of just brainstorm. We're kind of getting our ideas out there. And for us, I don't know if it'll be a couple months process, a year process, but I'm sure that we'll pick up and learn things along the way.
I'll share one thought, which was something I left on that kindling document, because a few meetings ago we had said after we each post 5 times, maybe we can buy a domain. But if I'm serious about helping other students also think about what becoming content creators are, which I am, I'm not so worried about the domain, number one. Number two, like what we're doing, I really see not, like I personally have not seen anyone do what we're doing in any of my research in media over the last 3 years. So I think what we're doing really can inspire some other people to do the same thing, right? To find genuine conversation, to document, and to think more deeply about themselves and their education. So this is exciting.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So anyways, that's what you just said, Henry. I'm kind of with you on that. There's still some, that YouTube book, the YouTube Secrets book, they say 2 things that are conflicting. One of them is start where you are, just use what you have, which relates to Daniel Coyle's Keep It Spartan. But then the other one is plan ahead. So plan to grow, basically. So they talk a lot, they spend a few pages at least on the development of names and the securing of social media outlets. And I do think that's important. So like if you have a YouTube channel name, get the social media name that associates with that, so that if your channel goes big, you have access to those things. I do think that we eventually will want to take that seriously, but I'm not as worried about that at this moment. I certainly don't want that to be an obstacle for daily productivity. And so I just think like the practice of learning how to be productive is way more powerful than branding rights at this point, right?
Over the last week, I've been in a lot of study groups, more than I've ever have through, especially virtually. And it's just amazing how bright some students are in terms of how interested they are in the subject and how much time they've spent on these subjects. And it's like, really, I really feel, if I'm thinking about Jeremy Kuhn, the guy from Google, the mathematician from Google, and all the stuff that he's published on the math and science, I see my own peers being able to publish in that depth for the concepts in my courses. And what's really stopping them from doing that, right? Because, I mean, certainly there's some things like sharing exams, but as far as their understanding of the concepts the teachers are expecting them to understand, they could be some tremendous content creators that ultimately would help everyone in that's taking that course around the world. So yeah. Okay. Sorry, Steve, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to mention on the agenda how the bullet point was talking about the YouTube kindling document. So we were just talking about that, so it was a great transition.
But Steve, we didn't get to hear your check-in because
Oh
that
yeah,
is
I forgot.
higher.
So, I'm doing well. I've just been. So I had put a text in that I'm basically I've just been scouting the UC Davis website for undergraduate research projects, and I kind of let's see if I have on my wall. I have like three of the projects for the winter and for the summer. Here's my computer. Oh, but so I have it there, just like remind myself that it's kind of what I'm aiming for. So the work that I do here is to hopefully land me in that, because I know how Jeff mentioned like the definition of a successful student is kind of narrow in academia, and I'm definitely like by academic standards I'm not where most successful students would be, but by my own terms of success I know that I'm just as good if not better. So I have to make up for things like GPA and the lack of experience and not as many connections as some people might have, but hopefully I can do it with just like planning and just consistent work. So that's what I've been up to. So I'm pretty excited. Just been working on my Python skills, and I was gonna order one of those linear algebra books, but it was like $60. And then I just went to my half price books and I found some textbooks. Um, Although I don't think it's as good proof wise as the applied linear algebra book, but it's like a second edition of I think David C. Lay textbook. And I was like, I'll just get it. It was like $10. So I was like, I'm gonna get that. And then I got a Python book as well. So $7. And I actually got some more. It's called the mathematical experience, and then it's kind of just a lot about like the history of math, and then just like a bunch of just random things like.
Who's the author of that one?
Philip J. Davis and Reuben Hirsch. So it just talks about like what is mathematics, where is mathematics, the mathematical community, different experiences in mathematics, like teaching and learning, and then it just talks about some concepts as well. But I just thought like there's a nice like not a specific thing in math, but just like a general exposure. Yeah, it couldn't hurt to help, and it was like $6 as well. So I was like, this is a steal. So yeah, so I've just been doing work and really enjoying my office setup. So it doesn't look good from that angle, but from this angle, what I see, it looks really good. Because I know, Jeff, you look like you have a professional background, and mine just looks like a closet, some like motel. But oh yeah, I also have a ring light because I do want to set up. I have soft boxes too, but that's kind of just takes up a lot of space. Because my brother has actually shot video, so he has all the recording materials, and because I do want to shoot some videos, kind of just like to document my process of like aiming for an undergraduate position, and this is kind of what I'm doing, like this, just like track myself, because I know, like I look on YouTube, I ask questions like, what is undergraduate research like, or what is the process of getting into grad school, or these things, and I wish like I'm not going to be someone that's going to preach and have the answer, but just documenting my process. And then maybe in the future, when I have the experience or I know that I've made a decision, then I can post some information about that. So, and then I could also show like my own experience being where I am right now, like still questioning things, and show that to kind of relate to the audience. But yeah, so that's me right now. Cool.
I have three quick responses. One, I feel that pain of the GPA. When you brought that up, Steve, I'm thinking about like what my grad GRE score needs to be to make up for my GPA too at the same time. A second point is even the most advanced undergraduate researchers at some point were in your shoes in terms of like what the heck does undergraduate research mean and what they're looking for. The only difference is you're willing to document that process and share it to a larger audience, right? Um, and then the third point, I forget, but you're doing some really cool things. So keep that up, man. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember the third point. The third point is the most funny point, which is uh, I feel that the reason why Jeff is pairing us up and this entire project is your interest, your ever-growing interest in STEM is so inspiring to see. And I think Jeff knew my interest in STEM concepts has always been a little bit short. So so every time you talk about STEM in that way and seeing your investment towards STEM is super inspiring. So just know that.
Mm. I already, I can see Jeff's face. He's like, that's not what I was thinking at all. Like, Henry's really good at STEM. And I'll say the same thing. Like, no, no, that can't be true. Like, you have so many strengths. Don't even think like that. But I was also gonna say, I got through the getting what you came for. I read the first like 6 chapters, which is what I think I need, because the rest of it is actually being inside grad school. And now I actually have like a really good idea of what getting into grad school is like and how to reach out to advisors. And I have like a set timeline that I can follow. Um, and I mean, yeah, I have the Kindling document. It's like 20 pages, and I'm glad I read it. And I spent a lot of time. It took me like 2 weeks to get. It was like barely 80 pages, but I got a lot of the information that I need. And it's the second brain. Like, regardless if I do it or not, like at least I know what it takes to get into it, and I have a schedule that I can follow. So, I mean, there's obviously things I can still learn more, but I feel like I got a really good chunk of information that I need from it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
You know that calendar that you had with quarter by quarter, not the
Yes.
month by month, but the quarter by quarter.
Yes.
Can you put a post-it maybe next? So in between your second to last and last year, in the summer, you might put a post-it to read chapters 7 through like 16 or 17, which is another 80 pages. But the reason is if you, so I agree with you completely. At this stage, you like, I wouldn't go and read those right now, but I would definitely read those prior to, because you'll probably apply for graduate school your senior year, basically, right?
Yeah. So like June 2023.
But I think the applications are due in December or November.
No, yeah, it's oh, I have it in the, I would have to apply. I don't know, I have to check my thing, but I have the schedule, like, because in chapter 6 they actually outline like timelines of like how you would follow things. So let's see, I think it was, yeah, around December, November that you have to submit everything before your senior year. So yeah, finishing up fall of senior year.
Yeah.
So
So
I have the plans of like what to do, kind of, or a general outline of what things to get done the spring of junior year, the summer before your senior year, and then the fall of senior year.
So what I would recommend is have a post-it note as a reminder. And that summer before the application process goes, I might read deeply like you just did, like set aside a week or two to read chapters 7 through like, you could say 7 through 17. Because like, think about what you just did, right? You are front loading the next 3 years by collecting that information right now, right?
Yes.
And so by the time you apply, that application will represent the information that you have now in practice, no?
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, you haven't prepped for the next 3 years yet, right?
Yeah.
And the application process, like so if let's assume you apply, so